Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, September 12th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I'll do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right here will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, CNEY. Very nice mover today and some well-defined levels here moving forward. So let's just first start with the area of resistance, which I think sticks out like a sore thumb now. And that is right up here at the $1.50 mark. So I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that this is a great skill or special discovery. The exact opposite. I think a lot of people have noticed that. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. But you can see right here, and right there, the price was rejected. So while there is no such thing as a guarantee, is it plausible? Is it reasonable to think that if the price comes back up here and pushes up through there, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible scenario. So if you like to play breakouts, then definitely keep an eye on the $1.50 mark. In terms of areas of support, I think there's an interesting little trend line right here that it's formed itself. So let me change that to green for support. So keep an eye on that. And then just from an overarching standpoint, in terms of patterns, we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big explosion right here. If you golfers out there try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So if you like stocks in this price range, you like bull pennants, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, QH, did this in yesterday's video, or excuse me, yesterday's top 10 watch list. And yeah, the explosion has continued. So definitely some updates need to be done. First thing I'm going to do is just adjust this area up to what I would now consider the newest ideal level of support right there at $1.50. What do I mean by ideal? Well, if you say, hey Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest moving forward? That would be if the price can stay above $1.50 like it's been doing, and you can see right here. With that being said, if the price falls below that level, that doesn't mean the entire chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that. But if the price can stay above it, that would be best case scenario. Taking a step back and looking at things from the overarching standpoint, that's where the purple line comes into play, the 50-period simple moving average. Keyword being moving, because I understand, yes, the price is way up here, this line's way down here, but as time goes by, that line's going to move itself higher and higher and get more and more relevant. But from an overarching standpoint, as long as the price stays above that purple line, the overall trend is still plenty in the bull's favor. In terms of areas of resistance, key battleground here, headed into Thursday right up there at $2.10. But all in all, nice movement today, nice pattern. So let's see if the momentum carries into Thursday. Next one, FTCI, and like these other ones, some very well-defined areas from a resistance standpoint. And on this one, that sits right up here at the 55-cent mark. Once again, as I already talked about, that's not a great discovery, not a special skill. Got to think a lot of people are watching at that 55-cent mark, which once again introduces in that self-fulfilling prophecy talking point of how no guarantees, but if the price were to break above there, more than valid to think that that could be in and of itself create additional buying pressure. If you like to play more so pullbacks, then an area to keep an eye on is that trend line right there. You can see a couple nice instances here of, just pretty much if you would envision these as stair steps, then as long as the price stays above that line, then the stair steps, even if it were to come down here and then bounce, you'd still have these higher lows, and that's what it's all about. So all in all, depends on how you like to play it. Breakout players have a very well-defined level. If you like to play pullbacks and you like to play trend lines, I think that's a trend line that a lot of people will be keeping an eye on. But all in all, great movement today for this penny stock, and let's see if the price can curl back upwards and eventually get the break of 55 cents. Next one, PLCE. Very, very impressive mover today. Quite the explosive move, and now we have ourselves a nice pattern here that has formed late day today. So let's get this pattern here drawn into play. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. And you've already seen this pattern once, so I'm going to go through it relatively quick, but let's just keep it one color. Resistance, support, explosive move right there. Golf hole down here. Have ourselves a nice little bull pennant pattern, within the day itself. But then if you want to just step back and look at things from the bigger picture point of view, very clearly been a long time since the price has been up this high. In fact, you could even just make this an overall. I'll draw this very crudely, but if you even want to just call that the overall bull pennant, that works too. But the moral of the story is big surge in momentum, got a bit of a pullback. So if you're a pullback player and you don't like chasing prices and you want to just see the price consolidate out a little bit, that is checked off those boxes. And while that doesn't mean that it's going to go to new highs, you have at least gotten a pullback. So for you pullback players, here you go. Next one, NVDA, and just an absolutely monster move on this one today. After a rough morning, price started strong, came back here, found support, and then the rest is history, essentially straight up the remainder of the day. So much so that I'm just going to delete all those other lines down there as they serve their purpose for now. But public enemy number one here headed into Thursday. It is all about that pink line right there, the 200 period moving average, very well-known level, very famous area. So a lot of people are going to be watching it, and 117.25 going to be public enemy number one headed into Thursday. So definitely keep an eye on that. It's well within striking distance. I'm not saying it's impossible to break through that level, but I am suggesting that if the price is going to break above it and stay above it, the bulls are really going to need to bring their A game, because that level can be very stubborn once the price gets down below it. But that doesn't mean that it can't break up above it. As far as areas of support are concerned, if you like to play more so pullbacks, let's actually just do this instead. Have a nice area of support right here from a previous breakout point right there around the $113 mark. And then again, from the overarching standpoint, just watch that purple line there, 50 period moving average. So as that line moves itself higher and higher, as long as the price is above that level, then from the bigger picture point of view, the bulls are still in full health. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live webinar. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to sign up. Or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for this free class. Next one, ticker symbol TAN. Sorry about that. Should be TANH. And as I was talking, I noticed that it was just TAN. So you're not crazy. The chart all of a sudden changed what it looked like, because again, I had TAN, but the ticker I want is TAN with an H on the end of it. So sorry about that. So let me just get rid of those lines right there. And overall, this is definitely an ugly looking chart. There's no doubt about it. Started off very, very nice, got the breakout, and then this afternoon has become very ugly. But you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly. And what I find interesting about this one, from a support standpoint, is we have this former breakout area down here, the top part of this channel. And the top part of that channel is also coinciding with that purple line right there, the 50 period moving average. So it's essentially a double whammy of support. Still, that does not guarantee anything in terms of the price coming down here and for sure bouncing. But again, going back to, is it plausible? Does it at least make sense that it could happen? Absolutely. So if you like to play penny stocks with these situations where you get something looking pretty ugly, but within the ugly, it's still approaching a very valid area of support that could, potentially create some support and create a bounce, then that one definitely fits the bill. So really just a question of, can this thing get a little bit more ugly, come down here, and then turn back to the upside? If you like these scenarios, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and overall very, very good day. Not necessarily because it was a green day, but because of how the price has now behaved relative to this red line right here, which I've talked about quite a bit. And you can see right now, as I speak, the breakout has occurred, which now leads to a very exciting question. And that question is this the start of something bigger? Now think about that question. It makes no sense to ask that question if nothing worthwhile has even happened. But in this situation, something worthwhile has happened. The price is broken out. Now, to be fair, maybe it's not. Maybe this thing just rolls right back over. That is possible, but that is a two-sided coin, because on the flip side of it, maybe this is the start of something bigger, and Tesla's getting ready to rip and roar and go that much higher. So moral of the story is the breakout has happened. So is this the start of a much bigger breakout? Always, like I said, an exciting question to ask. So keep an eye on that dynamic right there. But if you're familiar with Tesla at all, I'm sure you're well aware that it can make some very, very impressive movements. And with the breakout here, maybe this is the start of a whole nother very impressive upwards movement. Next one, WOOF. And this is a very nice looking chart here. And I'm going to go through it quickly because you've already heard me talk about this pattern before. But we have the area of resistance. We have support right here. And then just from so resistance, support, huge explosion right there. Golf hole down here. We have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. Definitely a unique one because it was such an explosive move, and now the range is tightened up quite a bit. And that's not to say it's bad or anything like that. It's just really showing that this thing is, it's not wanting to pull back seemingly, because this will mean a little bit more to those that have more experience. But if you have, I'm sure you've seen movements that go like this, and then all of a sudden, poof, it's all gone. But here you can see it has pulled back, but very, very little compared to the overall upwards move. So that's not to say it can't, give back all its gains. I'm just saying that as of now, the story is saying that, yeah, it's a struggle to even pull back with this tight range forming. So overall, a lot of things to like about this one, and we'll see if it can get another surge of momentum on Thursday. Next one, APDN, and I'm not going to call this one totally ugly, but yeah, it is starting to take the shape of ugly because it had consolidated out here. Whoops, let's change the color on that one. It had consolidated out here so nicely, but now this afternoon, yeah, it is pulling back. But the reason why I'm not, what catches my eye, and maybe you've already seen it yourself, is check out, we have the purple line there, 50 period moving average, sloping upwards, and the price is now getting within the ballpark of potentially going down there and testing it. Doesn't mean that it will, and even if it does, doesn't mean that it'll bounce. But once again, the theme here is just what's plausible. Is it at least reasonable to throw out that suggestion? And yeah, anybody with technical experience knows that the 50 period moving average can indeed behave as a support, which makes it a plausible scenario. So once again, if you like these situations where things are starting to look ugly and you think people are probably giving up, and that's really usually the moments where all of a sudden the price turns around when everybody gives up, and then, oh, now the price goes, then keep an eye on that purple line right there. That could very realistically provide a nice bounce. Next one, TQQQ. I don't need to say hopefully too much, but very, very impressive day, although a very tricky day, because right here started off very weak, came down here, broke through this trend line here, and kept bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. And then just like that, kapoosh. I mean, crazy, crazy day and a very tricky day. So if this move right here faked you out, you know what? You're definitely not alone, because that was a very weak looking chart. Broke the trend line, continued to bleed and bleed and bleed, and then the brakes were slammed on, and then up it went. So, you're not a bad trader. If you got fooled right there, that's just how the market goes sometimes. But that's also why risk management matters, because you don't want to hold in hope, because if you hold in hope, all it takes is one of these types of movements, and you can be in a lot of pain. So, I did want to at least point that out. In terms of updates, first update, just based on the rule that when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So 6130, one of the newest areas of support. And then the big showdown tomorrow seemingly is all going to be about the pink line there, which I've already talked about. That 200 period moving average. Is the price going to be able to fight up through that level? It's certainly well within striking distance. Current value of it right now, let's just call it $65.30. So it's really as straightforward as that when it comes to levels of resistance. All eyes are on that 200 period moving average. It's definitely going to need to bring it to A game, because I don't think this thing is going to, go without a fight. But there's also no doubt about it that whole lot of strength formed late morning through the remainder of the day. So if this strength continues into Thursday, well then, yeah, that 200 period moving average, I don't think stands much of a chance, but it is the 200 period moving average. So I think it'll be prepared for battle. So we'll see if the price can break through there or not. I will get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders out there, again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool, then definitely go get signed up for the free class. It'll be very soon, Thursday, September 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so I hope to see you there. All right, now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I am now using the 4-hour time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 4 hours instead of 30 minutes. And that's because Bitcoin is open 24/7. And in order for this analysis to remain relevant for as long as possible, I wanted to focus more so on an overall time frame. But all in all, Bitcoin is holding up. Really not a whole lot of things to update since I did the video on this about 24 hours ago. But nonetheless, I'm just going to assume you're watching this video 15, 20 hours after I upload it. So on that note, question number one you need to ask yourself is, where's the price at relative to 55,700? You can see right here, beautiful job of bouncing off that level. So in any way, shape, or form, if you're answering the question that the price is above that level, then that's good. I'm not going to say things are great, but even if the price is down around here, well, then what would you still have? Well, you'd still have a set of lows here. You'd have lows there, lows down there. And if you envision those as stair steps, you'd still have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. So again, any sort of answers that the price is above 55,700, that is a good thing. Now, common sense will take you far too. If you're saying, well, actually, Clay, I'm watching it and the price is all the way up here. Well, not only is that a good thing, things have gotten that much better and the chart's looking that much stronger. So like I said, common sense will take you far in that regard, but bare minimum, you want to see the price stay above 55,700. If you're saying the price is actually down below there, well then where's the price at relative to 52,600? If you're answering the question that the price is down below there, that would be a very bad thing. That is not what you would want to see at all. That would imply a whole lot of bearishness. Or if you're saying, well, the price is down below there, but it's up above here, again, that's not a disaster, but it's also not very good at all, because that would imply that all of a sudden the price is right back inside of this range that it's broken out of. But as right now, especially after that 4-hour session right there, quite a bit of strength. So we'll see if the price can maintain above it. And you also keep in mind, actually what I want to do here, now see, this is a pretty evident resistance trend line right there. So if you're answering the question that the price is above that trend line there, that's just telling you that some strength has shown up, and the strength has actually gotten that much stronger. But all things considered, Bitcoin continues to hold strong. As I invited the stock traders, I want to invite you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to also get signed up for this free training, because what you're learning about can and certainly should be used within the world of Bitcoin and crypto. So definitely go get signed up for the class. Like I said earlier, it'll be very soon, Thursday, September 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there, and it is a genuine live event. And I say that because if you have questions, there will be a live Q&A session. So definitely bring your questions, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. So thanks for watching. If you enjoy these, hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Take care, and go get signed up for the free class.